Hey everybody, I'm just making a quick video on the Oppo Find X. This is the global ROM. So this is my daily driver for now and probably will be for the foreseeable future, at least until the Huawei Mate 20 Pro comes out. I don't think the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 will impress me enough to replace this, to be honest. This is my daily driver. So I've been using this phone very heavily and I've discovered a couple of tricks that Oppo doesn't really advertise, and also I haven't seen other video YouTube channels mention it yet. So I thought I would mention it here to kind of ease your concerns, because this phone was such a radical design, some people are a little bit worried about buying it. So the first thing is this pop-up camera mechanism. It looks very cool. It's pretty fast, relatively fast, but you know, a lot of people are still rightfully concerned because if you use your phone heavily, this thing's gonna pop up like 150, 200 times a day, because you need it every time for the camera and also for e-payment apps such as Alipay and WeChat Pay. So if you live in China, you use that a lot. And also every single time you unlock your phone, because this is a facial scanning system. So I have found a way that to actually unlock the phone without using the face scanner, but also not using a pin, because if you use a pin input only, that's a little bit slow. And also you can't use a pin input solely unless you don't register your face at all. And you know, I still want to leave face unlock on there as a backup. So because this is a global ROM, that means all the Google apps are built natively into the phone. So that means the Google Voice functionality is on here. So that means now I can use my voice to unlock the phone. So I can just say, okay Google, and the phone will unlock. Now it does go into the OK Google app, but I can just swipe that away. And that allows me to get into the phone without needing this part to pop up. So this might be useful for people who are concerned about this thing coming up and down like 200 times a day, because it does pop up often and sometimes I do get nervous. A lot of times when I'm on Instagram, for example, and I'm watching stories, sometimes I accidentally swipe to the left and then this thing pops up because I went into the Instagram story mode when I'm not even trying to record anything. So I love that I'm able to unlock with my voice. Okay Google. So as far as I'm concerned, this only works on the global ROM, so not the China ROM, unfortunately. So that's tip number one. I'm going to be using voice a lot. Tip number two is this phone is a little bit large, to be honest. 6.4-inch display. So fortunately, there is a one-hand mode, but it's kind of buried underneath the shortcut toggles. With a lot of other phones, the one-hand mode, it's in the settings. So when you go into the settings, you'll be able to find a one-hand mode. But here, it's not in the settings at all. Instead, it's buried into the shortcut toggles. And you notice that I already have it on here, but out of the box, it's not on here. Instead, it's hidden, buried down here. So what you have to do is you have to bring down the notification shade, tap this icon here to see all the little shortcut toggles you have access to, and then you can move them around like so. So I've moved one-hand mode up to the shortcut toggle, so now I am able to swipe down, hit one-hand mode, and now I can shrink the screen, and now it's a lot more manageable, especially when I need to type with one hand while I'm standing on the train. So it's kind of weird that Oppo made the one-hand mode so hidden that it's not inside settings, but that's kind of Color OS in a nutshell. Another thing that's hidden is switching keyboards. So in stock Android, or in just about any other Android phone, if you use two different keyboards, you have an option to switch keyboards when you swipe down. There's a little card right here. On Oppo phones, you cannot do that, and for the longest time, I didn't know how to switch keyboards until I realized there's actually an option down here to switch keyboards too. You have to, right here, switch keyboards. So you have to bring this up here to do so. Now, I use two keyboards because I type in English and Chinese. So now the third tip, which I already shared in the last video, it's split screen mode. So the Oppo Find X comes out of the box, uses swiping navigations. And right now, almost every Android phone that uses swipe navigation, unfortunately, takes away the split screen feature. You know, the split screen functionality on traditional Android phones is you long press on the square button. So on phones with swiping gestures, you can't do that. On the OnePlus 6, for example, if you're using swiping, you can't go into split screen mode. So Oppo, fortunately, came up with a pretty good way to do it, which is you slide down on one edge and up on the other edge, like so. Like that, and then it will go into split screen mode, and from here you can open two apps side by side. So I believe it works either way. You just have to slide down and up on either side. So one more option is that when you're watching full screen videos in YouTube or Netflix or whatever, If you swipe from the left, you're able to bring up these little shortcut toggles. So you can bring up WhatsApp, for example. I can read messages, I can respond to it, and then I can also bring up Facebook Messenger and also my standard text SMS app. And then down here you have screen record, or you can grab screenshot, all that. So that's a very useful menu that you swipe from the left side of the screen when you're watching videos. So that's all the tricks I know for the Oppo Find X. I think it definitely makes the phone a lot easier to use for me. I really like the one-hand mode because the screen is sometimes a little bit large to use with one hand. And I really like being able to unlock the phone by just saying, okay Google, just like that. So I don't need to have to bring this up every single time, because sometimes I'm using the phone in the rain and I worry that when this camera pops up and it's raining, water might get inside, because this phone doesn't have an IP68 water resistance rating. Anyway, that's it. Oppo Find X, global ROM, my favorite phone so far. I'm gonna have more videos coming up on new tablets and like projectors and all that. I have one sitting right there right now actually. So thanks for watching.